Right, so I've got some outdoor power equipment to test today, and I'm at a mate's place, and I think between the two of us we've probably got enough stuff to get the job done. It's a bit big for the bench. This is the UH008G. It is one of 6 new XGT hedge trimmers in this particular lineup. It has a 600mm long blade, and I'm going to go put it to the test right now before I tell you anything else. It's a beautiful sunny day and I am dying to use this thing. My new Makita, my old Makita. Now this little hedge trimmer has done really well, and I'm well impressed with it. And I'm only really upgrading because, well, I'm sort of upgrading everything to XGT. It's not because the hedge trimmer is knackered or I don't like it. I actually think for its size and its price and everything and its weight, it's a really good value little hedge trimmer. It is the DUH523, and I've already found a new home for it, so that's good. But let's quickly just compare them. I'll put a 2.5 amp hour on the 40 volt and a 5 amp hour on the 18, and we'll see how they go against each other. Sounds quite nice. Yeah, I think I prefer the 40 volt. So that's okay, a little clunky. Let's try it down this end with the other one. XGT time, baby. Totally different. Wow. That was too easy. I don't know if we need to see this one again. I think it's early retirement time. Half bald and crooked, just the way I like it. Let's take a closer look at the blades. And what about that one? Woohoo! Isn't that a cool looking thing? 40 volt compared to the 18. We've got a massive cutting area here. We've got these guides that drive your foliage into the right place so you don't end up with it all sort of jammed up one end, and a fine cutting bit on the far end. It also has this bumper bit on the end here to protect your tool and also stop you from potentially cutting something you shouldn't. Look at the shape of the blades. They are different to the 18 volt. As you can see, the 18 volt, they're much narrower, so they don't have much grunt behind them compared to the 40 volt, and they're rounded on the bottom there. So the bottom blade has that rounded tip. The 18 volt also doesn't have 3 different speeds. It doesn't have a reverse button. The handle on the 18 volt doesn't do this. Having said all that, you can get hedge trimmers designed like this that run on the 18 volt LXT batteries. I've just never gotten around to getting one. And of course some of you are going to be saying that's what I should be comparing it to. But how many hedge trimmers does one lad need? She served me well, but it's now time to hand her over to her new owner. Okay, so this video is mainly concerning the 08, but today I also have to show you the 07, so both 40 volt tools, but they have very different blades on them. And we've got the 18 volt DUH751, and over on the left, the single-sided fancy one, the UH014. So the one on the right, 600mm trimmer blade, these two are 750, and the one on the end also 750. If we take a look at the teeth design, you can see these three are very different to the one on the end. far bigger area for cutting and probably a bit more of a rough cut compared to the one on the end, which is more of a standard trimming blade. That, to be honest, it's too awkward. 750 40 volt. Now that's pretty thick. What are we talking? Ooh, over 3/4 of an inch. Not bad. So I've had this trimmer for quite a few months now, and it's tried all sorts of different things, and I am more than happy with it. Compared to the 18 volts, the 18 volts are fine, but you notice the difference when you start cutting. When you get into thicker stuff, the 18s will slow down and vibrate a bit more, whereas the 40 volts power through. So that's why I never ended up using the 18 volts much in this video. We intended to when we were filming this, but there was, once you start using the 40s, you just can't be bothered picking up the 18s again. You want to get the job done, so you stick with the 40 volts. Now, 750 versus 600, it's a personal choice. I don't necessarily want the big long ones. Personally, 600 is long enough. 600 is pretty long. And that's, more than enough for most people, for most jobs. If you want that extra 6 inches of reach, well, depends on what you're cutting really. And when it comes to, depending on what you're cutting, the UH014G, this one. It's the single-sided it's designed for one purpose and one purpose only, really. If you've got a ton of buxus hedge between about 800mm high and 1200 high, or sort of 3 to 4 foot sort of range, then it's potentially a very good tool. But beyond that, I don't know, because you're cutting along, it's scooping up all the leaves, throwing them off, that's super handy, but you don't have that back blade on it. This has the two sides, whereas when you've got that single side, you can't go backwards. You're going along, and then if you want to redo it, you've got to go over and go again, over and go again. You can't just sort of go and on the top, that's not too bad, but when you come to doing the front of a hedge, you sort of go up and down with one of these as you go walk along. That one you've got to go like that, and if you miss something, once again you've got to walk back and go like that. You can't just go So, very specific task, and because the handle's in such a weird configuration as well, it's uncomfortable to use unless you're doing the top of a buxus box hedge. So not a good all-round sort of hedge trimmer. That's a specific purpose hedge trimmer. This you can use for everything. It's cut through everything I've wanted to cut through. I haven't been able to test the reverse feature because I haven't managed to get it to jam yet. Cut through nice thick stuff, no problem at all. There is a couple of things I don't like about it. One is this area here. Just kind of looks like it's missing the cover or something. I'd rather have some sort of plastic cover over the top of this. Now that moving is perfectly normal. That's, you know, for vibration mitigation. But yeah, I'd like a plastic cover over that so that sticks and shit don't get under there, and when you plonk it down on the ground you're not getting mud and stuff in there. Yeah, that's one thing. And the other thing, to make these things work, you have a safety system where you have to hold this trigger at the front here, not trigger, this handle, sorry, and you pull the handle and then push that and then pull that. Kind of annoying when you want to get up high on a hedge. So there's a good chance, like if you want to use this one-handed, which you're not meant to do, of course, but maybe this will be eliminated in a, well, let's say like 5 minutes after this video finishes. When it comes to putting on the cover, there's a slight little trick to it. Every time I go to put it on, I was always trying to put it on like that. Doesn't work. I mean, you think, oh yeah, that'll fit in there. Why is it not going on? You got to go underneath that. Okay, goes through like so. Once you know, it's nice and easy. So that is the UH008G. It's IPX4 rated. If I hadn't mentioned that, we're just coming into summer here, so this is going to come in handy for me. And I'll see you on another one soon. There'll be a few more outdoor power equipment-y type ones coming up shortly, because yeah, like I say, 'tis the season in this part of the world. So it's a good time to film them and get them all out there for you guys to see. So cheers guys, subscribe, like, blah blah blah, see ya.